Andrew, a lot of debate around the future of Liddell. This is the coal-fired power station in the Hunter, and you've got some detail here as to what's going on to keep it working.
Yes, that's right, Kieran. So Energy Minister Angus Taylor is preparing the way to keep the power station open from 2023 to 2026 with federal support. As I understand it, Mr Taylor in recent months has canvassed a number of options, should I say, with his colleagues. One is spending $300 million to keep the power station open of Commonwealth money. Another would be buying it from AGL to keep it open until 2026, with the belief that Snowy Hydro 2.0 will fill the extra demand when it comes online in 2026. But there's this gap between Liddell shutting in 2023 and Snowy in 2026. But there are other options too for the federal government in encouraging AGL to keep this asset open. One of them is underwriting a $300 million investment by AGL to keep it open, or making a regulation change forcing AGL to keep it open. Last week, Mr Taylor is understood to have had a one-on-one meeting with AGL CEO Brett Redman. Mr Taylor last year, as we've reported before, commissioned a task force into the future of the plant involving federal and state governments. We revealed last month that task force showed it would cost $300 million to keep the station open for just another 3 years, and even then the plant is ageing to the extent it might not be reliable. Look, a decision is expected this month, given a COAG Energy Ministers meeting is due later this month, and there is a decision on the plant AGL needs to make by April in any case, Kieran, but very hard pushing behind the scenes from Energy Minister Angus Taylor to keep this coal-fired power station open.
So, Andrew, either the $300 million, as you reported in the last few weeks, that's needed, that's the dollar figure, so it's either the government provide that money or it underwrites the facility or provides regulations within which that operates. Either way, the Minister for Energy wants that to stay open, the Liddell coal-fired power station.
He completely does, and you would see that the Treasurer Josh Frydenberg would probably prefer an underwriting option or a regulation change option, given that it looks like we've got no surplus now. It'd be harder to get that $300 million spend through. We've seen with the Collinsville power station proposal in Queensland, the government's indicated to us that it would only be underwritten, there wouldn't be direct funding. And in terms of several renewable energy and gas projects, the federal government and Angus Taylor have already underwritten those projects. What that involves is guaranteeing a price for AGL in order that the asset remain open. But this will be a critical thing for Angus Taylor up to the 2022 federal election, and for the state government for the 2023 state election. The citizens of New South Wales will want this resolved to make sure that the power supply is happening. The state government, of course, they seem to be more about a gas-fired power station and renewable solution, but I think there's scepticism from Mr Taylor that will do the job.
Interesting news on that front. Government moving again on coal, as you said, a $4 million feasibility study for Collinsville in Queensland, and now this news from Andrew this afternoon about the prospects of Liddell.